Hello and welcome to my channel. This is part 1 of my new player series for the Engineer. This guide is for new and returning players with little or no experience of the profession, not veteran scrappers or kit masters. This first episode will look at the Engineer's history, archetype and overall game style to give you a fair idea of whether the profession is a good fit for you. If your interest is piqued by part 1, the series will continue in part 2, where we will cover the Engineer's abilities, drilling down into its most commonly used skills. In part 3, we will look at weapons and kits, in part 4, its traits, as well as currently viable builds for each game type. Finally, part 5 will be a Fashion Wars extravaganza, as I showcase screenshots and artwork shared by you lovely viewers of your enigmatic engineers. Of course, no guide would be complete without veteran players from the Guild Wars 2 Reddit community sharing their hard-won hints, tips and opinions, so let's jump into it. The Engineer profession is new to the Guild Wars franchise. You will be hard-pressed to find anything like it in the 3 campaigns which preceded the rebirth of Tyria with the launch of Guild Wars 2. We can, however, look to the Azurans' love of technology and the Char's great machines of war, which arguably foreshadow the Engineer's rise. It's hard to pin down an archetype which fits well with the profession. For me personally, I feel like I'm playing a steampunk-themed mad scientist or weaponeer. With its vast array of mechanical marvels and potent potions, the Engineer has a reputation for being one of the most difficult professions to master. However, it's also one of the best professions for free-to-play gamers. Unlike most other professions in Guild Wars 2, the Engineer's elite specialization Scrapper is not a requirement for meta endgame outside of PvP content. Wooden Potatoes created a video where he outlines the pros and cons of the vanilla power Engineer. There are links below and I highly recommend watching it. Gameplay-wise, the Engineer can be daunting because of the sheer volume and complexity of its skills. This is why the profession has so few weapons options when compared to other professions, and like the Elementalist, no weapon swap. The Engineer for raids and high-level fractals can be complex or simple depending on your build choice. Condition builds offer high damage with a complex skill rotation. On the other hand, power engineers, as Wooden Potatoes demonstrated, can be simple to play but with less damage output than their conditioned cousins, whilst still being viable. This is great for new players just getting into raiding, as a simpler rotation allows them to focus on learning the encounter while still dealing respectable damage. In PvP and World v World, the Elite Scrapper is all, but there are still builds for free-to-play gamers which are viable, just not optimal. As with all professions, when it comes to the open world and the storyline quests, you can run whatever weapons or builds you want. You will not be stuck for options with the Engineer, and there is much fun to be had from experimenting with its many unique kits and tricks. Personally, I love running the flamethrower kit. It is far from optimal, but it is fantastic fun. If you head over to World of Ender's channel, you will find his brilliantly bonkers flamethrower build, which I love dearly. Links below to that gem. The Engineer is fun, versatile and rewarding. Its skills are diverse with a scope not matched by any other profession. In fact, it can and does mimic other profession skills, giving you access to the Thief's stealth abilities, the Warrior's rampage, and the Elementalist's tornado skills, to mention a few. Mastering where and when to use its numerous skills is half the battle, and will take time and energy to learn, but this one-man army is well worth the effort. Let me know in the comments what you love about the Engineer and what areas you find challenging. If you would like to share images of your engineers in all their glory or offer advice to new players, there are links in the description for you to follow. If you are thinking of joining the Guild Wars 2 community, there are referral links below to both the free-to-play game and the Heart of Thorns expansion. Thanks to the generosity of ArenaNet, these referrals directly support my channel. I also want to give a shout out to everyone who supports me on Patreon. You guys keep this one-woman show up and running, and I can never thank you enough. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and a thumbs down if you didn't. And as always, thanks for watching.